Some of our days start very early, but it's not because of farm or homestead responsibilities.
What do we need?
Q-tips.
Okay, grab the Q-tip.
Which one?
Whatever one you want. See your shirt. Good job. Now let's do your inhaler. You ready? Big breath. Inhale.
Let me take you back in time about 22 years. It was 1997, and I was a young soldier. I had just finished basic training, and I was visiting my home state of Indiana with my wife and kids. It was nice being around family and friends for the event that was coming up, and that was the birth of our third child. Everything was going pretty well, but after many hours in labor and a slightly traumatic delivery, we had a healthy baby boy. This baby boy was our son Luke. And he appeared to be perfectly healthy. He was a little underweight, a little premature, at 6 pounds and 4 ounces, but still appeared to be very healthy. Well, I had to get moving on to our next duty station, my first training station after basic training, and that was in California. That ended up to be a very important location for us because we were stationed near the University Hospital of Stanford. Well, it was about 3 or 4 months into Luke's life when he started developing these movements that we couldn't identify or explain. We took him to the doctor and they sent us to do some testing there at the Stanford University Hospital. After many tests and doctor's visits, it came back that Luke was diagnosed with infantile spasms. Now, I don't know a whole lot about that, but basically, it's like a seizure disorder that could delay his developmental progress. That started our journey as parents with a special needs child. Luke was 7 months old when we started with a lot of therapies to help him get past this thing that stunted his development. Mama Curbs has always been one that just dives in and takes care of business, and she is the perfect mama for Luke. She started with learning all about what infantile spasms was and all of the medicines and therapies that they wanted him to be on. Well, over the years, Luke started to develop pretty well. He was different. He had a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of therapies, and a lot of labels, and a lot of unknowns. But still, he was our beautiful baby boy. We were initially told that Luke would probably never walk, or talk, or feed himself, or go to the bathroom by himself. But with lots of love, lots of care, and lots of therapies, it turned out that we were able to achieve all of those things. It was a little later in life compared to most other children, but he did achieve those things. We never really liked to treat Luke like special needs, yet he did require a lot of special care. He did get labels like autism and MR and different things, but most of those were, I believe, because the doctors and the school systems didn't know what else to do with him. So he carried those labels and he did get special care through the school systems. Luke went on over the years to develop beautifully. He was a very healthy boy. Physically, he had no real problems. He was never sick, and he was always able to do the things that we wanted him to do. He was able to participate in our lives, and we were able to give him the quality of life that we felt like every child deserves. It seemed like things were going really well. We thought Luke was going to learn to drive. A little training in an empty parking lot, trying to see if we can maybe someday get on the real road. Get a job. live independently. What are we getting?
Cheese.
Maybe get a girlfriend. Luke was 18 years old, and finally we were going to go see a doctor, a genetic doctor, where hopefully we would get some more answers about what's going on with Luke. What makes Luke who he is? And after some genetic testing, we found out that Luke has a genetic mutation. It's a mutation on a gene called FoxG1. There are very few cases known in the world. I think it's still under 500 known cases. He was 19 years old, and then something changed. He got sick. Luke got pneumonia, and he was in the hospital for 4 days.
Hey, Ray, go sleep.
I'm tired. My tired baby. Are you my baby? Are you my baby?
Did they put an IV in?
You want to show him your IV?
That first time getting pneumonia, it felt like our son was sick, but he would get over it. He was just sick. You go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, you do your treatments at home, whatever it is you do when your kid gets sick, and we could take care of that. But that was a very traumatic experience for Luke. And during that 4-day hospital stay, Luke started to regress. A lot of those things that we had worked on over the years, all the therapies, all the training that to get him to learn to participate in life, that's feeding himself, cooking for himself, walking, talking, participating in a group, going to the bathroom. He started to lose those skills, and he was regressing. We continued to pour into him and give him all of the attention that he needed and all the therapies and working with these new challenges of him kind of giving up on some
Below the
things.
string. Good. Now strum down. Good. Let's do 3 of those. 1, good. 2, and 3. Awesome.
Well, it was about a year later he got sick again with another case of pneumonia. And that time again, he was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. And yet again, he regressed even further. He was losing all those skills that we had worked so hard to make sure that he could accomplish, just normal life skills. Well, then he got pneumonia for a 3rd time. Something was going on in his lungs that we couldn't control, we couldn't take care of. And this 3rd time, he was in the hospital for 12 days. That was an extreme experience for all of us. And Luke lost the desire to eat, his desire to breathe, or smile, or just be a part of the family.
You're doing great, Luke. Doing great.
During this visit, it was highly suggested to us that we put Luke on a feeding tube. Initially, we resisted this because we just couldn't imagine that our boy, who we had worked so hard to grow up to this age, to be a young man, would need the assistance of a feeding tube. Well, we worked during that 12-day visit in the hospital pretty hard to get him to eat, and Luke had given up. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want to do really anything. In fact, it was a challenge just keeping him breathing. Well, we went ahead with the feeding tube, and it's been pretty good. It's been good for Luke in the sense that he's been able to get the nourishment that he needs without struggling with whatever the sensations he has with eating, or the mental block of just not wanting to eat. Whatever it is that causes Luke to not want to eat, we could get past that because we could give him the nutrition that he needs. It's been a challenge in our life, that's for sure, because now there's the added work of finding out what foods he should be eating and how to store those foods, prepare those foods, and have all that medical equipment now between the feeding tube supplies and the breathing apparatuses and therapies that now he has to do to keep his lungs healthy and his body nourished. This has been a challenge, but we're getting through that. Well, recently we went to visit a doctor in Houston. This doctor in Houston is a neurology specialist that specializes in kids with FoxG1. So we were excited to go visit with him and have him share with us some of his knowledge about Luke and this condition.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. How are you, sir? Good morning.
The visit went well. The doctor is very kind and very open and shared lots of knowledge with us. But during that visit we learned that kids with FoxG1 in their 20s, should they reach that age, are subject to slowing down. Like, just things change for them. And this is a new phase in our life because it seems like Luke has reached that point. So now our daily struggle with Luke is to continue those therapies, to do things again at this stage in his life that he did back when he was 3 and 4 and 5 years old, teaching him to be more independent, to want to eat by mouth, to go to the bathroom by himself, to participate in groups of people, to be able to talk, to be able to stand up and expand his chest, to just breathe deeply, helping him to get over some of these lung issues that he has. This is a full-time job. And Mama Curbs bears most of that weight because myself, as the man of the house, the husband and the father, I still have a full-time job. I have to bring home enough money and insurance to take care of our family. But that's a lot of time, that's a lot of responsibility. On top of that, there's the homestead. A lot of my projects around here, I'm sitting in a garden right now that really isn't doing well. It looks rough. There are a lot of projects here that are left partially done or just undone because I don't have time. I can't get to it. The responsibilities of being the husband and the father and the caretaker and having the homestead and trying to be a video creator to share these stories with you. It takes a lot out of us. I love every minute of it. Every bit of my life is a blessing, and I appreciate you guys being here. But there are times when I feel like I need to share more with you so that you can understand why we don't have videos coming out every day or even every week. These are the reasons why I'm not the most active video creator. I don't have the best schedule. I don't do videos every 3 days or once a week or whatever those normal schedules are for the biggest and most active video creators. I'm just sharing this with you because many of you ask a lot, Daddy Curbs, do you have a full-time job? Is homesteading your main thing? And yes, I still have a job, and homesteading is a very big part of our life. In fact, Luke is one of the reasons we ended up on the homestead. Let me share with you a little bit about how we ended up on a homestead at all. Back when Luke was very young, when all of our kids were much younger, we loved to be outside. We loved to go camping and do things just in nature because we felt like as parents that was important to give that experience to our kids. Well, along the way, I also thought it was important to learn how to grow my own food. So in a suburban backyard, I ended up making a small garden. And by small, I mean it was probably 2 feet by 6 feet long. I grew tomatoes and peppers and different things in that very small garden. Then a friend of mine told me about this thing called aquaponics. And I thought, I really want to build that. And I found that I could build this small system in my backyard with a fish tank and these growing tubes, and we could grow our own food using fish water. I just thought that was pretty neat. So all of those things combined with our kids loving the outdoors and us trying to grow food and me starting this adventure as a video creator and all of this kind of swirling together, and our friends who owned this place were getting ready to move. So we had a good long talk with them and discovered that we could purchase this place and turn it into a small farm. So over the years, trying to manage this new adventure of raising farm animals and gardens and raising our kids.
What you got, Luke?
Sunny?
Yes, do you like Sunny?
Mine likes to be a boy.
Do you like living on the farm?
Yes.
Along with the special needs and staying with the day job and all the responsibilities that we had, it's been very good for us, but it's been very busy, very full. Along the way, we found this community. People who have come alongside us through sharing our stories online. And many of you, I now refer to you as my family, and you guys, you're in the comments and you're in my live shows and you're in the Facebook group, and you have been very encouraging. You have been instrumental at helping me develop as a man and helping me develop as a creator and helping me feel like all of this is worth it. And I want to let you know that whatever your special challenge is, whether it's living with a special needs family member or a special financial situation, loss of a job, or whatever it is that seems like a big challenge in your life, you can do this. You can get through this. Embrace your story. Learn from every piece of it. Lean on community. Let community encourage you. I want to encourage you. Living with special needs, there are times you're going to want to cry. There are times you're going to want to maybe just fall on your face and give up. It's okay to feel that way, but you keep going. You keep embracing who you are, and you keep sharing your story, because you're reaching people just like this reaches people all around the world. You guys are reaching into my life as I hope to reach into yours. Now you know a little bit more about who we are and how we got started and how we got to where we are. We do live with special needs on the homestead, and I appreciate you guys being a part of that over the years and understanding that that is a part of our life. Those daily struggles are real, but we're here learning to love, learning to be a part of this community, and I thank you for being a part of that. I do truly believe that everyone has a story and every story counts. Thank you so much for being a part of my story through this video and letting me be a part of yours. I'll talk to you soon.